Hello, folks. I greet you and welcome to another program in the series Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today on the program, PDP expels Shaibu, that's the former deputy governor, Obi, for anti-party activities, and later on we'll share this with you. Residents commend police neutrality and proactiveness in Rivers crisis. Again, Jide is unavoidably absent, but then let's report that I'm hanging out with gentlemen. The first one, Adewale Adewe. Well, I greet you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. We are joined also by Paul. Dada Paul, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, the team is ready. I hope you are. Now to our first story. You know, quite apart from due deference to tradition and heritage, the appointment and installation of a king in the African setting requires wisdom and tact. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has approved the appointment of Oba Akinloye Olakuleyin as the 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land. The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Olusegun Olaiwola, made this known in a statement on Wednesday. Governor Makinde, while congratulating the new Olubadan, and he prayed that his reign would birth greater development in Ibadan land and Oyo State in general. And from here, we are saying, long may you reign, our dear Olubadan. Yeah, Wale.
Well, I think all is well that ends well. There is no way we can automatically change a tradition that has existed since 1820s. You know, because we have to show respect for the wisdom of our elders.
Okay.
Ibadan was a city that was built, though it was there since 16th century, but was built around 1820 by soldiers from Egba or Oyo, during the turbulent era of civil strife in Yoruba land. And then because of the different tendencies that came into that town, they had to devise a means of power sharing, which was between the military wing and the civilian wing, more or less like a diarchy.
That's in Ibadan.
Yes,
Township.
in Ibadan Township.
Okay.
And it was between the military wing, which is the Balogun, and then the civil. So the two secessions. Over a period of years of promotion of the Balogun line and then the civil line, it was the best that they could achieve at that time in order to maintain peace. Because Ibadan at the time we are talking of almost 150,000 soldiers, became the most formidable military city in Yoruba history. Very powerful, very formidable at that time, And so they had to devise a means to maintain peace between the civil population and the military. Okay, let us share power. Yeah. And that's what they have been doing since around 1820. Even when the British came, the British respected that tradition and allowed it to subsist. So that's why you've not had any crisis, for so many years, in Ibadan, between over. And at this time around, some of us are worried that because people are trying to say, don't swear him in and all that. No matter the status of the person supposed to be the next Olubadan, even if you assume that he's not capable or whatever, he must be the one to be picked as long as he is alive.
Okay.
He must pick him. Because only God can decide who will see tomorrow and who will see the next 10 years. So there was no way one would have expected the governor of Oyo State to alter an heritage that has subsisted for centuries. So I'm happy that public expectations have been met, expectation of history has been respected, expectation of culture and heritage has been upheld. So we are waiting for the installation of the new Olubadan. We wish him well.
Paul, my trouble here is when politicians dabble into traditional things, they tend to make a mess of it. But in this case, Governor Seyi is showing a lot of respect and is deferring to tradition.
But Governor Sheyi has no choice because Ibadan has established ascension system.
Okay.
Which you cannot.
It is traditional.
It is exactly. It's not like other towns where people begin to go to litigation because of crisis regarding who succeeds. The issue is that the deceased king came from the civil line. That's the civil line, the Egbe-Agba line. Now, the system is that the next one must come from the Balogun line, the military line. That's the highest chief.
Okay.
Who happens to be this Olubado, the one that has just been appointed as Olubado. That's Oba Olakunleyin. The only thing is that because of most Olubadons, most people imagine Olubadon when they are very, very old. So that's why they don't usually stay long on the throne. In fact, I think the longest Olubadon reign Olubadon should be this monarch that ruled for 16 years.
Oh, really?
Yes. The immediate predecessor of this current Olubadon just was there for 2 years. His own predecessor was there for 6 years, Oba Saliu. But it's a very clean way to ascend. So we can only wish this Olubadon well. I can as well say Kade Pelori, Kibata Pelese, Ki Irukere Belowo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ki Oko Oba Koma Shawa Lese.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
All right.
You remember, it reminds me of Wale's home base, Ishon stool. Eventually, they had an Oba.
Yes.
Towing the traditional line. The line of tradition.
Yeah. Yeah, so just like he said, I think the longest Olubado ever had ruled between 1930 to 1946.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Leshinloye.
Yeah.
So, and 16 years. So it's not as if people that when you get to that to start. The fact of the matter is that most of them get after a very long time of order of So
I'm told the name is Aleshinloye.
Yeah, Aleshinloye.
Yeah.
So we are happy that a new king is coming in. We wish him the best of luck. And only God knows how long he's going to reign. One being cannot, because a child is old enough to die on the date of his birth. So you cannot say somebody is too old to die or is too young to live. It's only nature.
Those who know have told us that death is not the opposite of life.
Yeah.
It is a part of life.
Yeah.
That one way of not dying is not to get born. But the moment you are born, you must be ready.
The only way not to die it's not to get born. Yes, I really like what you said because nobody can predict when. Oba Saliu lived until he was 93. Oba, what's his name again?
Aleshinloye.
No, not Aleshinloye. The immediate predecessor, Lekon Balogun, died at the age of
make it
81.
Yeah, Aleshinloye.
81. Oba Olakunleyin is 84.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who knows? If God wishes that he lives till he becomes
20 years.
100 or 120, who can stop that? So let's just wish him well.
43 Obas in Ibadan and still counting.
Yeah.
So, if only we don't tamper with the traditional institution.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Okay then. Let's go to our next story. Good old Kano is not just the second largest city in Nigeria after Lagos, but a major commercial and industrial center. The emirate in Kano was formed in 1805, you remember. The emir of Kano is one of the foremost leaders of Hausa Muslims the world over. So a remote cause of the tussle in Kano can be traced to the creation of 4 emirate councils, Bichi, Rano, Gaya, and Garaye, by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, chairman of the APC. Now, the current governor in Kano, by an act of parliament, quashed the 4 emirate councils, even as the deposed emir, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi II, was reinstated. it became a court matter. Political gladiators are not letting up just yet. And question, would Kano be the same again? Only time would tell.
Well,
Paul.
Already things are happening. There's actually a court order now that came in. The Federal High Court ordered that all the appointments, the everything should be reversed now. That has voided the removal of Emir Bayero. This is because the court said that the Kano State government should have listened to his order, his interim order, that they should maintain the status quo while the substantial issue is being dealt with. It remains to be seen whether the Kano State government will obey that. However, there is also a conflicting order by a court of coordinating jurisdiction, Kano State High Court, which has even ordered that that man Adobayo should be arrested. Now look at that. Now the governor will have to choose which courts to obey, and you're almost sure which one is going to obey. We just spoke about.
Okay, so you Wale is telling me that you have a choice.
No.
Of which court order?
No.
Okay.
It's a mockery of the system brought about by politicians. It is, I don't know. I think the judiciary has to find a way of rescuing itself from politicians.
Oh, yeah.
You bring a case to a court. You go to another court of a coordinated jurisdiction, bring the same case, and then
issue an order.
Both courts issue different orders. So politicians will now say, okay, I can obey this, I can obey that. It's very bad. We just spoke about Ibadan now, that have a very smooth system of ascension.
Yeah.
I think that politicians have no respect for the court. I think they also have no respect for the traditional institution. It's actually, what's happening in Kano is actually a show of shame. I'm sure they will say they want to go on appeal. Want to go on appeal. They want to, all of that. It's
so
very
it's not yet Uru.
It's not yet Uru. The Federal High Court has given an order. Okay, revert to the status quo. I gave you an order. You did not obey it. I gave you an order until the substantial issue is dealt with. You did not obey it. Go back. Now the funny thing is this. Another thing is, I hope the case will not even start de novo, because this Justice Liman has been elevated to the appeal court, and he has transferred the case to another judge. He has transferred the case to another judge, starting de novo, starting afresh. Now, that said, there's also Kano State High Court. The matter is there. Then maybe they will go on appeal. Then maybe they will go to Supreme Court. Just because of the interest of two conflicting political heavyweights in the state. It's very shameful, honestly. It's shameful.
Yeah, but you are told in politics, friendship is not permanent.
It's about interest, yeah.
Wale, so good old Kano is not going to know peace until very, very shortly or days after?
I think what is going on is very unfortunate, because Ibadan, Kano in a way is similar to Ibadan in terms of what Kano means to northern Nigeria and what Ibadan means to the people of the old Western region. If you look at this,
it was the old political capital.
Yeah, capital, of the entire Western region, northern region. And in terms of
Kano.
Yeah, in terms of history, that traditional title is a very old title. Even before the conquest of 1805 that we are talking about, there has been a traditional institution in Kano since 999 AD, before the jihad that took over that power in 1805. And we have had series of turmoil, conflict in the Kano emirate since 1805.
Provoked,
internal crisis and all that. But I think even when the British came in 1905, they still respected that institution and allowed it to be, because they know that it meant a lot to the people, of it. It's an Islamic state that has played significant role in African history. So that's why previous institutions, governments have always shown respect. But these days, our political leaders as trying to subsume, this traditional institution. They want to put it under their armpit. They want the emirate to reflect the interest of the dominant political class in Kano. And that is why when two political parties are fighting, the emirate usually becomes a pawn in the game, becomes direct victim of the intra-party, the intra-elite, which is not supposed to be.
And again, let me quickly reflect on something here. The former governor split the emirate just to whittle down the powers of Emir Sanusi. So you read a lot of politics into that?
Of course it was political, though.
I think politics.
Yeah, I think Emir Sanusi, I don't know how to address both of them now, because he also could be blamed, because the tradition is that emirs, hardly speak. But when an emir begins to dig his hands into the pies of politics, he will have his hands soiled. Traditional rulers are supposed to maintain distant, relationship with political affairs so that they don't end up in a hot soup. But he was always dabbling into political affairs and all sorts. But I think it was not a good tactics. And I think that was one of those that ended, that put him in trouble. As we are now, I think this is the first time in recent history that we're having two emirs.
Just by talking about Emir, the 14th Emir, Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. He was an outspoken Emir. He spoke truth to power, and some people wouldn't take it.
Well, you see, traditional rulers can speak. There are many ways you can speak truth to power, but you must be conscious of the strategic position you are holding and the impact it could have, on the political system. Because when an MI speaks, it has a lot of impact on the body movement, the psychology, the mental orientation, of the subjects, and it could lead to unforeseen consequences. And that is why MIs, people in that position, are expected to be circumspect, that they can reach out to authorities covertly without necessarily making statements that can become inflammatory. It's not the only MI. Of course, Kano is a vassal state of Sokoto Caliphate, and the Sultan of Sokoto hardly speaks. The El Kaneme of Kano, of equal status, of Borno Empire, hardly speaks. So the Obong of Calabar, if I look at the Oba of Bini, when he speaks, literally reinforce. You listen. I mean, because he hardly speaks, and that gives a lot of respect. It mystifies that position. But when on every situation you want to, make statement, you want to talk, you demystify that institution, and people will begin to challenge you because you are challenging their political rules. So they also challenge you, and it will lead to all sorts of problems. So I think the way it is now, the governor of Kano State wants his own candidate to emerge, to be the Emir of Kano. And I think at the end of the day, it is only court that will be able to resolve this issue. The governor is not ready to give in, and the same way.
It's unfortunate we are having to rely on courts, Paul, because you are tempted to ask, wherein lies the traditional council here?
Traditional council that is at the mercy and of the whims and caprices of political heavyweights, of governors.
Does this not remind you of the days when we had the parliamentary system, Wally? There was the House of Chiefs.
Well, yes.
You had
the
assembly.
But it also depends on the personality of whoever is in charge. You don't hear that an Edo State governor touches the Oba, for example, Oba of Benin. Okay? You don't even hear as controversial as
the Benin monarchy is an absolute one. You can't mess with it.
Well, there's no such thing. Well, absolute monarchy, but operating within a constitution now. No, what I'm trying to say is that times have changed.
But times have changed, but does not affect what's on ground there.
No, I'm not. Yes, I think it depends. If a politician wants to mess up with a traditional stone, he will do it. I agree with Wale when he said that Emir Sanusi was not mindful of what was supposed to be the conservativeness of his tool. I agree with him absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, it also depends on the personality. There is I don't want to mention his name, there's a king in Yoruba land here who is also very controversial, who is, might say unruly. People talk about him, they have written about him a lot. But I've not seen the governor of his state, for example, try to upset whatever is happening there. You have
told us why.
Because he has not made political statements that threatens.
Don't let me go there. But what I'm trying to say is that it depends on the personal. This is all about political interest.
Okay.
This man, the Emir Sanusi, offended the political gods that ruled Kano at that moment, and he had to be dethroned, banished, and then the emirate was split, and all of that. Now, this man that is there now is not in the same bed with the man who removed Sanusi.
But now, recall that former Emir Sanusi and Emir Bayero are relatives.
Doesn't matter. It's just
it matters, though.
Political interests are bigger than family ties. That's the truth of the matter.
Filial relationships.
It depends on what value you place on each of them. It depends on what value. There are people who probably can even kill their family members, cousins, because of politics. It's all about, in the end, it's not about the interest of the citizens of Kano. It's not about the interest of good governance. It's not even, there's no respect. If these two men, the two emirs, think that they are respected by their governors, I think they are not.
Wale, all of this does not do Kano any good. Yeah. So we are looking, I'm saying, look at the Kano of yore. Was the center of trade,
Islamic learning.
You remember the
knowledge,
groundnut pyramids were all in Kano and
Sahara trade.
Yes.
Yeah. I think generally.
And somebody wants to mess with that age-old institution.
Well, I think on a general note, this is a kind of advice to custodians of traditional institutions that the emerging socio-political contradictions is threatening traditional institutions. People are asking a lot of questions. And one is wondering whether the traditional institution will be able to survive this tide. Don't forget that in other countries we have traditional institutions. In India, in Libya, in Syria, in Egypt, in Israel. So the internal crisis, within traditional institutions now may fuel a kind of upheaval that people will begin to ask questions that do we actually need these institutions any longer? What is irrelevant? In England, there have been a lot of reforms by traditional institutions to meet up with the aspirations of the people. So if traditional institutions are not ready to reform, they want to live by the standard of 17th century, there will be all sorts of conflict, coming from the political class, coming even from the masses. For instance, in the past, we never had a situation where people will go and attack an MI. But they start armed gangs, attacking them, going to their... So it shows that their relevance in the context of the dynamics of Nigerian politics. So they need to learn to reform, and the way they can reform is that they must realize that they are there for their people. When they are in power, they must listen to their people, meet their aspiration, and stay away from dirty political waters. They don't do that.
That reformation can't just happen. The laws have to protect the traditional institution. We must give them, if we still want to preserve them, let us give them defined roles under our laws. You talk about UK. The laws guiding that country already give roles to the
in the case of the UK,
Eswatini,
you can talk about Tudor house producing the king or the queen or the queen at any time. So they have not tampered with it.
But of course there have been laws, there have been reforms on what the monarch can do or cannot do.
In our country?
No, I'm talking about UK.
Okay.
Even in Africa here, Eswatini, former Swaziland. The king is the head of state.
Oh yeah.
So, and he has enormous power. It's actually the president, is the head of state. He appoints the prime minister. Now, It's a traditional institution. It's a traditional institution that has been before they started to modernize, but they find a way to accommodate that institution in their laws. So if you actually need traditional rulers, we must find a way of preserving them under our laws. That's what I'm saying.
All because you cannot wish them away.
Of course.
Okay then, we are done. Let's move to our next story. You know, political intrigues are what they simply are. Use of techniques, usually of manipulative nature, to exact favors, palace intrigue, and crass opportunism to upstage presumed enemies. All does not appear well with the state, that's Edo State. Comrade Philip Shuaibu has been expelled from the party. Also kicked is a vice national chairman, south of the party, Dan Obi. And a former House of Reps member, Omorege Ihama, was also dismissed from the party. Edo State Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ogie Vasco, says the trio was expelled for anti-party activities. I hear that in politics, there are no permanent friends, only permanent interests.
Absolutely. Well, what is going on in Edo State, I'm not surprised at all.
Oh, really? You saw it coming?
Because, I mean, you can predict the evening from the show of the morning, you know. Because
good for you.
Yeah, because what brought the two together, it was not the convergence of ideology. You know, it was a convergence of, you know, personal interest that, you know, ensured that Shuaib left APC and joined PDP. And also the current governor we are talking about, you know. So, you know, when we are talking about politicians, look at what happened in the case of Awolowo and Akintola. It was fundamental disagreement on ideology of democratic socialism. So it's about free education, it's about the prices of cocoa and all that. So the people found their bearing in either of them. Mm-hmm. But in this case, you can't, the people of Edo cannot say, okay, this is what Shuaib stands for, which coincides with the interests of the masses in Edo State. And they cannot also say that, oh, Obaseki, this is what he's portraying. Let us stand behind him. Both of them are brought together by, you know, desperation for survival at a particular time. And that also united them. So it means that any house that is built on dew, that use saliva to build, it will be broken up by the fall of dew. So what I'm saying is that both of them, they are similar. They are flirtatious politically, they are promiscuous politically, and at the end of the day, they are just trying to hang on to certain formations in order to be able to advance their own personal interests. So I think Shuaib expulsion, not even suspension, no. Expulsion is higher than, you know, suspension. I think it's expulsion. I saw it coming. And at the time, it was like a house on a bed on a house, a lonely bed on a housetop. And at the time, it was like an orphan. So he needed to look to affiliate himself with a political party that seems to be dominant in Edo State. And I think he had made the right choice by joining the APC to fight Godwin Obaseki. And I think this battle is going to be tougher for the current governor, tougher than he ever imagined, because you cannot rule out, you know, Shuaibu in terms of his political formations and the role he played in the emergence of Godwin Obaseki. So it's going to be tougher, and if he's not careful, they are going to shake that his Iroko tree will be shaking, and if he's not careful, a small axe might just cut it down. So I think it reflects on what is going to come in the September gubernatorial election in Edo State. That is, as today, it's very difficult to predict, but we can conveniently say that the current governor will find it very difficult to have his successor emerge as the next governor of Edo State. That does not mean that APC will win, but it's going to be tougher, you know, than...
Paul, Wale is not speaking for you, or easy.
No, he's not speaking for me.
Okay.
Like him, I was not surprised. I saw it coming, really.
Okay.
I saw it coming. Because if you look at the three personalities...
More like saying, as they say in America, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You ain't seen nothing yet. So, look at Danobi, for example. Danobi was the former PDP chairman in Edo State. He's currently the national vice chairman of PDP. But you know, he is a member of the legacy group. They call themselves the original PDP members in Edo State. And he has been at loggerheads with Obaseki. So, Shaibu, of course, we know. The other man, what's his name again? Hiyama was even rumored to be nursing the deputy governorship slot under the APC candidate now, Okwebolo. Yeah, there was that allegation. So, I'm not surprised that they are kicked away for alleged anti-party activities. What I don't know now, because 3 of them seemingly are supporting the APC candidate because they could not get joy within the PDP. It looks to me like a dog-eat-dog situation. I think that already Shuaibu is pulling his whatever is left of his political weight behind the APC, but I do not know. It remains to be seen whether even the APC will accept him wholeheartedly. Remember, he is the exponent of Edo no be Lagos. When Ashwadi Bola Tinubu was trying to make the is a pastor what's his name again? Is a Yamu. Yeah. You know, he said, look, it can't be like this. You look at how he fell out with Adams Oshiomhole and all of that. But again, they say, you said there's no permanent friendship in politics.
Even enmity in politics is not
so it remains to be seen. Edo is very interesting. Yeah. I know that it's not going to be a smooth ride for whoever wins that election. It is not guaranteed that Ighodalo will win or Pebolo. Remember also there's also the Olumide Akpata. Yeah. Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party.
The answer is in the find the answer in the electorate in Edo State. So
we just want a free and fair election. We just want a peaceful election. We don't want people that are so desperate to the extent that they will sponsor talks to snatch ballot boxes and then cause mayhem because in the end, the politicians will win, one politician will win, but Edo State will lose.
Wale, let's address this question. Do you think it is politically easy to be your own man in politics? You enter office, you want to be your own man. Is it possible?
It is possible.
Okay.
And we are speaking from...
You have an example?
Yeah, from precedents. That people, we have seen people who are their own men. If you stand for what is right, and if you have the opportunity to explain to the people what you stand for, and the people can reason with you, the people will support you. So we have had people like Jack Onde, we have had people like Mbakwe, in Imo State. We have had people like Balarabe Musa, who was impeached. We have had even the current governor of Borno State. So we have had striking examples of people who stand by principle and who insist that, look, this is what I am, and I'm not going to bend my back for you to ride on it. So there are people with principle. And even if you look at the Lagos State, for instance, I think it's only Lagos State that we have had a governor that fails to a savvy governor, that fails to win the primary, and also loses the, because what I've learned in Lagos politics is patience, and waiting for the right time.
Bide your time.
Waiting for the right time to strike. If you strike at the wrong time, you lose out. But if you strike, even when you have very good grounds, if you strike at the wrong time, you will lose out. For the 8 years of the APC, there are a lot of things that happened, but the people in power...
Okay, you mean in Edo?
No, even nationally.
All right.
But the current president bided his time. If he had, maybe what he suffered in the first 2-3 years, he had started making noise, organizing people, I'm going to leave the party, he wouldn't have emerged as president today. He waited for his time. He bidded for the right time. And when it was the right time, he came out to fight for the primary. So I think most of our politicians, they learned that tact, to be patient and to wait for your time. Because look at what happened in Lagos State. We had a governor that people disagreed with. But they didn't say go and impeach him. They waited for the second term. When it was his time, this is time. It is our own time. And he was paid back in his own coin. So people who think that, the first 1 year, then you want to come out with all your cards, you are going to exhaust yourself. It's a relay game, So it's always good to be patient and strike at the right time. If you strike at the wrong time, no matter how correct your position is, I think you are going to lose out.
Well, you remember the first German Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck. He said, politics is not an exact science. Mm-hmm. But experts have reminded me that politics is a behavioral science. Mm. You can't tell the behavior of the politician until he gets there.
you can't tell the behavior of the personalities.
And also, Napoleon Bonaparte said, stupidity is not a handicap in politics.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, but let me quickly say this. It is possible for a politician to be his own man in this dispensation.
Okay.
But it is very, very difficult. Only few politicians are able to swim against the tide. He was making reference to Jakonde.
Yeah.
Mbakwe. Now, remember, those were the days that the parties were funded by the common people.
Yeah.
People were giving their words, their pennies. The funding came from the people. But now, you have big wigs.
So add Balarabe Musa.
Yes, Balarabe Musa, yeah.
He was the only member of the PRP.
People Leadership, yeah. But
while the House was predominantly NPN.
But now, you have big wigs. People. One man can have the party in his pocket. He funds election. He buys funds for all candidates.
Plutocrats.
You get it. Thank you. That's the word. Now, he buys funds for candidates. They must kowtow to his wishes.
Yeah.
That's what he expects. And when some of them try to assert themselves, it becomes a problem. What's happening in Edo is just because these people have offended Obaseki. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else.
All right.
That is
another question, Wale, quickly. Is it easy to leave the shadow of the Godfather? If you understand.
Yeah, I understand. It's tough.
Oh, tough.
But it is not impossible.
Okay.
Because we have seen people, if the shadow is threatening, it becomes a beast that wants to hunt you down. It's in your own interest to leave the shadows. But we have also seen people who confront the shadows of their godfathers unnecessarily. They themselves assume the position of a shadow that wants to overshadow the godfather. So if the shadow of the godfather threatens you...
Are you thinking what I'm thinking now?
Yeah.
Oh, we are thinking the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go on.
But we don't need to speak out.
Okay.
So it's possible, especially if the conditions be given to you, are life-threatening, and they are not good for your own interest. But only very few people have that courage to be able to say that, put their feet on the ground and say, look, especially when what they are fighting for, what the Godfather is asking you to do contradicts the interest, the collective interest of your people. But I think as a politician, if you put the interest of the people first, even if the shadow of the Godfather is trying to breathe down your neck, for prosperity's sake, you should be able to stand on your feet, even if it means leaving that job. Unfortunately, there are very few people that can do that. Maybe even none.
How many people are that principle?
Yeah.
How many people are that principle?
Only very few.
No. But I cannot forget late President Shagari's first Inspector General, Adamu Suleiman. He resigned over irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
There aren't decent police officers like that.
Yeah. But
and for that matter, decent Nigerians like that. They are too few.
Honestly, I still believe that a lot of Nigerians are honest.
Okay.
You know why I say this?
Until when it becomes difficult.
Even when you go to rural areas, look at Urawat in Calabar.
Okay.
The huge market.
Urawat, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Go there, people will leave their goods overnight. Nobody will touch it. If you are traveling from here to Calabar, you see people, they are yam and everything.
Oh, yeah. Nobody touches it.
Nobody touches it.
Yeah.
And if you go to your village, what is the percentage of those that are criminals? We know them. Very few. Only very few of them. In your village, in your family, they are not up to 50%. Maybe 5, 7. Sometimes you go to the market, 1,000 drops in your pocket. An old woman that is selling maybe euro or something. The total this is just about 1,000. We call you, oh guys, look at your money.
See your money.
There are honest Nigerians.
Yeah.
The only problem is that there is no reward for honesty.
Okay.
There's no reward for honesty. And the society is becoming hostile to honest people.
Well, it doesn't change the saying, old saying, honesty is the best policy.
It is the best policy.
So
it is the best policy.
All right, we'll take a break now. A breather, just so we make some money. You just talked about money. We'll go on a commercial break. We should be back shortly. Please stay.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
All right, folks, welcome back. Let's take on our last story. You know, experts worldwide are in agreement about the qualities essential for good police performance. These include common sense, mature judgment, and the ability to react quickly and effectively to problem situations. The ordinary residents in Rivers State, we can tell you, say they are glad that in the unfolding political drama in the state, the police have stayed proactive. They add, if the police were not proactive in preventing some of the actions of these politicians, we would have been unable to go about our lawful pursuits. And that would have made life more difficult in this harsh economic climate. This testament tells me, Paul, that we can have the policing we need.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes, I agree. You know, interestingly, I heard one of the parties in the crisis in Rivers blame the police that they should remove the police commissioner and all of that, just because the commissioner of police, just because he's not pandering to his interest. I think that we are in Nigeria is skeptical about the police because police have been synonymous with corruption and all of that. But when they do well, we should praise them.
It's just that the job of good police officers make that of job of some unscrupulous police officers. We make the job of good police officers dangerous.
We tend to talk more about those who misbehave. You understand? But when we see those who...
They are good police officers.
As far as I'm concerned, what the police is doing currently in Rivers is right. Because, look, because of the festering crisis, lives have been lost. There have been acts of vandalism. Okay, are we expecting the police...
so.
Exactly. Are we expecting the police to fold his arms and allow that state to become destroyed and for a worse level of implosion to happen? So I think the police have done the right thing. The police should just remain neutral. The joke is actually on the people who are, causing the mayhem. The joke, in fact, we should blame the person who refused to conduct local government elections before the tenure of the council chairman was over. We should also blame governor, not even Governor Fubara. We should blame all governors who set up caretaker committees to manage local government, something that is not recognized under the law. Section 7 of the Constitution says that the local government must be governed by elected officials. Elected. Now, the Supreme Court...
You want to spell that? they heard you, go on.
The Supreme Court, in many cases, has said that the idea of a caretaker committee is not legal, is invalid.
Yeah.
I think that although our laws also give room for the State House of Assemblies to make laws for the local government. However, which is superior? The Constitution does not give room for what's it called now? For caretaker committees. They must be elected.
But now it appears they are here to stay.
I don't know what is
because we are talking about rivers. The governor has the governor just swore in new caretaker.
No, he has a precedent now. In Anambra, I think for the past 15 years they've been having just caretaker committees. See, in this country, our problem is that we don't have strong institutions. We just have politicians. Everybody just comes to do what they like. I am not happy with the two big men in Rivers State. Both of them are just causing problem. Both the former governor and the current governor. It's all about their interest. Look how this is happening. Buhari has been a governor for the past 1 year. He has not been able to concentrate on governance. It's been from one crisis to the other.
Well, let's deal with this.
So the issue is that in the circumstances, what will the police do? Should the police say ex-local government chairman come back? Should the police say
doesn't have the power?
They don't have the power. According to the CP said something. He said, look, let us wait for the outcome of the appeal court judgment. Appeal court sat today and has reserved judgment. We don't know when it will be.
Okay.
I think that everybody should just calm down, till then.
Okay. Wale, that we can have the police of a collective expectation. It is possible.
Yeah, it is possible. And in this country, we have had very fine officers. Even fine IGs. One of them was MD Yusuf, from Katsina State, one of the finest police officers. He's late now. And I think sometimes it depends on the person. If you look at the current police commissioner in Rivers State, if you look at his background, he's a graduate of English from Lagos University. That's not enough. But he has 2 master's degrees, one in criminology, one in administration. And if you look
so he's equipped.
Yeah, he's equipped. He's also a member of the International Association of Police Chiefs. It's a global, before you can get to that level, you must have been tested on your job and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if there is a political crisis, the attitude of police is critical in terms of determining what will be the outcome of that kind of crisis. If the police take sides with one of the parties, it can aid, it can fuel crisis. It can compound.
The police at that point will be used to advantage
of one political interest.
Yeah.
However, being neutral is not the issue now. It's not the most important issue. The most important issue is being professional.
Yeah.
Because the police needs to be on the side of justice, on the side of truth, on the side of the people. And if you are on the side of the people, it means that you are ready to do your job professionally. That's why a lot of say, okay, they are happy with the neutrality and professionalism of the police. If the 2 political interests are fighting, the role of the police is to maintain law and order. If you see thugs on the side of A, arrest them. People are armed. If you see on the side of B, arrest them. Don't arrest the people on the side of Wike and then release them the second day. Or you arrest the people on the side of Ubara and you release them on the second day. And if you are offered incentives,
set tongues wagging.
Yes, you need to do your job to ensure that you maintain law and order. And I'm happy that the CP is saying that, look, let us wait for because the police are not judges. They are law enforcement officers. It is the judiciary that can decide the fate.
But permit me to add this. The police is a judge of intentions.
Yes.
Look like what happened in Kano, preempting the Doba. Because based on information, so they judge the intention of the people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the police can act based on reasonable judgment.
Yeah.
You know, to take a decision. Based, if you assume that there may be crisis, then you can.
But in intelligence gathering,
yeah,
the police are number one.
Of course.
Yeah.
They are number one because they should be able to foresee circumstances scientifically. You know, to look at A and B, put it together and say, look, on this day, there is going to be a crisis. Let's take preemptive measures.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is going on in Rivers State. What we can say is that we urge the two political parties to allow the police to do its work, because if it becomes if violence sees the stage,
the comes to become.
Yes, you know, if people now resort to using guns and all that, the police will need to get tougher.
Yeah.
To on the side of the party that has choosing violence as a means of pursuing its agenda.
Yeah.
So at that stage now, people will be saying police is partisan, but police needs to take action so that Rivers is not ruled by guns, but ruled by.
Mine is, Paul, since the residents are giving the okay to the police, we are getting somewhere.
Yeah, I think the testimony of the residents is what actually matters, not the testimonies of the gladiators.
Yes.
Okay, because
depending
on which camp you belong, you can either fault, or you may decide to fault the police, or you may decide to praise the police. But when the citizens feel protected from what you quoted, said if the police were not proactive in preventing some of the actions of these politicians, I love that phrase, these politicians are the problem of Rivers State.
That's it.
And the police are there to protect the citizens from the consequences of the bad actions of these politicians.
And so the number one policeman in the state, that's the CP, the Commissioner of Police, takes kudos for this.
Yes.
It can be done. It can be replicated in your state, my state, his state.
That's what we expect from our police. We want the police that is professional. I think police, you know, it's PR for police. You know, if police is doing well in all of the states, if police is not, if the police commands or the police authorities do not allow themselves to become instruments, tools in the hands of unscrupulous politicians, I think it's fine. That's what we want. That's the police we want. That's the police we are proud of. It's a very good, you know, it's not every time we hear good testimonies about the police.
You know, when Wale talked about having had great police officers, I don't know how, if you were old enough to remember Mama Toyin. Wale, you remember Mama Toyin? Mama Karaba. These were
I heard of.
These were extraordinary police women. Mama Toyin in Lagos here was the nemesis of many an errant driver in Lagos. So I tend, as I say sometimes, I am on the same page with late Professor Chinua Achebe. There was a country in this country.
Yeah, there was a country.
There was.
And the funny thing is that sometimes when we look at the past with nostalgia, it's like we are saying, let's go back to the past. We should have actually made progress from where we were. It shows our level of retrogression. All right,
gentlemen, but you know, time is the master on this show, so we must pack it all in. Not before thanking Wale Adeoye for his time.
Thank you, Citizen Jones.
And you, Paul Dada, many thanks for your...
You're very much welcome.
That will just about do it for the program today. If you missed any part of it, not to worry. Later tonight at 11, we have a repeat broadcast. And on Sunday, we expand the field for you from between 1:30 and 3:30 p.m. Just to add, we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.
Can I win Best Comedian for 5 years? I do show no sponsor.
Adult Nation presents the Snooker Laughter Crusade 40 and Fearless. Lagos, are you ready for the best comedian in Nigeria? This talker.
Oh, no, King Solomon for Bible. 700 wife, 300 concubine. Is he shit on them?
He is bringing the best of comedy, music, and wow entertainment to you. This event features Nigeria's finest comedians and musical acts. Date is Sunday, 23rd June at the prestigious Eco Hotels and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Red carpet 6 p.m. and main hall opens at 7 p.m. Tickets regular 3,000 naira, VIP 10,000 naira, executive table 1.5 million naira, premium table 3 million naira, luxury table 5 million naira. Get your tickets online at www.imdestalker.com or ariatickets.com. You can also get your tickets at all Buka Hot outlets and Lounge 38 Surulere. This Talker 40 and Fearless is packaged by A-Town Concepts and supported by.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1 horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete